And I had a guy later who started his own company and credited something that he had learned in one of those sessions that had really helped guide him. I don't even remember what it was, because it's too hard for me to like pull exact tips or things.
I was actually just recently talking to a friend of mine who, unfortunately, the company had to downsize because they lost the funding, and it was like it was, and we were talking about it, and I was talking about how difficult a lot of times it is to lay people off, and you have to try to really see it from their perspective, and if they didn't say something exactly the way that you were expecting, that becomes very difficult, because you're like, what do you mean? I'm an employee, and they should be thinking about my feelings and how I see things. And I said to the person, hey, they're worrying about the overall business, which has many, many more moving parts than just you, and to really see it from that perspective. And he understood it, and he appreciated my approach. But same thing that you're saying, that a lot of times, why does a reorg happen? It's like, okay, come in here and recognize that we're dealing with risk, and we're dealing with market changes, and we see something our competitor is doing that you might not see, and on and on and on. So yeah.
The other thing is, when people would complain, well, why did you reorg here and then you change it 2 years later? In a big company, you have very few degrees of freedom in top management. If you want to get the whole organization to do something different, there are not many tools that you can pull out. One of the biggest you have is reorganizations. So you reorganize to fix something, and of course that creates problems which will need to be fixed. So you reorganize again, but in the meantime, you've gotten that first thing fixed. So that's part of the overall thinking.